Here we go again. Welcome back. We're ready to stitch our design at our machine. So first, I have hooped my prepared fabric. I have prepared my fabric by ironing a fusible fleece on the back of it and hooping the entire piece that's going to be used for the wall hanging. The fleece that I have used is by So Lazy and it's called Dreamy Fusible Fleece. I like it because it's soft, and when you do your stitching of your applique, it gives a little puffed look. And because we're just doing very simple applique on this design, as you can see from our printed template here, there's not a lot of stress on the fabric, so there's not going to be any puckering. The fabric I have chosen is strong enough to hold the embroidery on it. So I don't need to use any extra stabilizer. However, if I were to stitch this without the fusible backing or the fusible fleece on the back, I would probably use just a tearaway stabilizer. So the reason that I have my entire fabric hooped is because when we created this in the software, we put the basting box all the way around it. That means this is exactly where my hearts are going to be stitched in my hoop. And I don't need to worry about moving any designs at the machine. So I have my printed template, I have my fabric that's hooped, and I've loaded the design into my machine. And the machine I'm going to be stitching on today is the Viking Topaz 50. And I have already threaded my Metler Polysheen thread. And we're only going to be stitching it with one color. So this is the same color because it's going to show up nice on our fabric as we're doing it. If I were doing this not for film, I might use, to stitch my placement lines, a thread that matches the background of my fabric that I have here. But because I want you guys to see exactly where everything is being placed without having to squint, we're going to use the same color for both the placement and the finishing stitch. Now, I have loaded my embroidery design to my machine, and I've skipped color number 1, which is the basting stitch. The only thing that does is lock those designs to the top of the hoop, so I don't need to stitch it. I could stitch it, but I don't really need to. So I've skipped that step already at the machine. I'm going to load my hoop and stitch color number 1, and we'll come right back to the next part. Okay, so color number 1 has finished stitching at the machine, and you want to be very careful when you remove the hoop when doing applique to not move this embroidery arm. It's very important that you carefully remove your hoop, slide it out, and slide it back in carefully, because once you move this arm, and it can be moved, everything that you've done is out of alignment. So take a few extra moments and just be secure and careful when you're removing your hoop from your embroidery machine doing applique. So we have our hoop, and it has finished stitching the first part of our applique. So I need to get out my shapes that I have already placed, or I've already cut with my fusible backing on it, and I need to place them exactly how I needed them according to the template. Now, I didn't remove the backing on some of these, obviously it looks like. So you want to make sure that you peel it, and remove the backing so that you can place them exactly where you want them. Now, we're going to be pressing them in place. Oh, here's another one I didn't do. So again, you peel the backing, there we go. So this is where they're going to go according to our template, but I want to put them one at a time in place because we want to make sure that they're exactly where we need them. So I'm going to let you see this so that it goes right in the center of that line. So you don't want to see any of the stitching going around. And then I have my clover wedge iron because it's got the nice flat surface on it, and I'm going to place it right in my hoop and follow your manufacturer's instructions for your whatever fusible you used on the back to fuse it into place. And we will do that for each one of these and make sure that they are perfect inside the lines. You take a little more time now to do this, you'll be happier with your results afterwards, because you really don't want any lines showing. Now granted, I used the same color thread for my placement stitch, or if I used the same color thread as the fabric, you probably wouldn't see them very much. And if you're doing a satin stitch, of course, that's going to be covered. But I am doing a blanket stitch, and this one is going away from the purple. So I just wanted to take a little bit extra time to make sure that nothing is going bad. Now, I just realized, as I'm doing this, that I forgot to put my ribbons in underneath. So we're going to do a little jerry rigging here. What I meant by the ribbons is I have cut this yarn. It's by YLI, and it's a nice sparkly yarn. And I need to make sure that I place it underneath each one of these. I forgot to do that. So this is what happens when you forget to do that. I'm going to heat this up luckily I didn't do this one yet. Whew, only I did 2 I've got it fixed. So I'm just going to heat up the end a little bit so it reactivates it, the adhesive, just a little bit because I didn't overly press it. Place this flat ribbon underneath and now press it into place. Oops. See, most things are fixable. While it's still in the hoop, it's still fixable. So if that hadn't worked and I needed to put a little bit of glue underneath there or a little bit of spray adhesive, that would work as well. Now the ribbons are nice, and this is a flat ribbon, has a little bit of a sparkle in it, and the reason I'm doing that is because I want it to be placed underneath here. So I need to fix this one now. So I'll heat this up on the back, lift this one up, whew. Put this ribbon underneath. And the next ones we can do as we intended in the first place. Press that back into place. Okay, now we got the green one. Whew. Place my ribbon down first. It's going to hang down there. Now this is a flat ribbon, so you don't see any bumps underneath here. That's something that I had selected by choice. You could have used yarn, but if I was using something that had a little bit dimension, I probably would wait and not place them underneath the appliques because you don't want that lumpy, bumpy thing to be sitting there, or I would find some way of hiding that lumpy, bumpy thing. Maybe putting a bow on top of each one or something like that. Okay, I think there we go. This one will work here. Place it down. If I put this up a little closer here, do my fussy setting of my balloon, press it into place. 2, 3, 4, 5. Perfect. So here I have all of my ribbons are in place. Now I'm going to go back to the machine and it's going to stitch the finishing stitch. One thing I want to make sure is that this ribbon is not getting caught when it gets to the other one. So I'll need to make sure I'm careful at the machine when that does that. So let's go do the second color. Okay, so we've taken this off the machine. Now one of the tricks I did was to keep these ties out of the way. I used a little bit of Scotch tape, which it easily comes off. It doesn't leave a residue. So that just we want to remove it before we put any other ties down. But I wanted ribbons down, but like this one I had to keep out of the way. And these guys are going to be out of the way. So we're just, anything that's going to get tucked underneath something, we want to make sure that it doesn't accidentally get caught. So I just use a little bit of Scotch tape for that. Now we have our next hearts that are placed, and this time we're not going to mess up with the ribbons. So I'm placing, this one's already tacked down nice. It's going to be flat underneath here. Place my little red guy in here. Now that's one of the things I noticed was, okay, I don't even have to have one for this heart at the center here, because it's basically, I can use the same one that's right here. So let's place this guy like this and make sure we're nice and neat in our running stitch and do exactly like we did before. So now that I have all of my hearts in place, I'm going to go back to the machine for the last step and basically repeat it, because I'm going to stitch the finishing stitch and then the placement stitch for the next two, and we're almost done. So there you have it. We finished our last stitching of our balloon hearts. I've removed all the tape from the hoop and the applique. I am ready to arrange my ribbons using a little bit of fabric glue so that they're in place nicely. Take this out of the hoop, of course, cut any jump stitches. And I simply decided to put a nice little quilter's binding on it and turn it into a cute little wall hanging. I hope you enjoyed this project. My name again is Lisa Shaw of sew-bubbles.com, and you can find me online. I would love to see your projects posted. Be sure to tag the Embrilliance website as well as the AccuQuilt website. They would love to see you on social media posting projects that you've done with Embrilliance Essentials AccuQuilt Edition. Thanks and have a great day.